Story, Trust on Himself. In a quiet village nestled between green hills and flowing rivers, lived a young boy named Ahsan. Unlike other children, Ahsan had no wealth, no powerful family name, and no one to guide him. His father had passed away when he was just 6, and his mother worked tirelessly in the fields to feed him. While others often doubted him, there was one thing Ahsan held on to fiercely: his belief in himself. From a young age, Ahsan was fascinated by machines. He would gather old bicycle parts, broken radios, and discarded wires from the village dump, trying to understand how they worked. People laughed at him. "He thinks he's a scientist," they mocked. But Ahsan didn't listen. He trusted his curiosity and determination. At school, he faced more challenges. His clothes were worn out, his lunch was often just dry bread, and his classmates teased him. Yet he never gave up. His teacher, Mr. Kareem, once told him, "Ahsan, the world may not believe in you now, but if you believe in yourself, that's enough to change your future." Those words stayed in Ahsan's heart. A turning point. One day, a science competition was announced at the district level. Students were to design something useful using scrap material. The winner would get a scholarship to a top city school. Ahsan's heart raced. He had no money for fancy tools, no team, no mentor, but he had trust in himself. He worked day and night, building a hand-powered water filter from old bottles, charcoal, and sand. An invention he hoped could help poor villages get clean water. When the day of the competition arrived, Ahsan stood among children from big schools, wearing branded uniforms and showcasing high-tech projects. His model looked simple, even ugly to some. People whispered again, "What is that thing?" But Ahsan explained with confidence how his filter could save lives, how every part was recycled, and how even a poor village child could build it. The judges were stunned. His idea was practical, powerful, and full of purpose. Victory earned, Ahsan won the competition, not because he had the best materials, but because he had the strongest belief in his dreams, in his efforts, and most importantly, in himself. He was awarded the scholarship, invited to a big school, and even later sponsored by a university. Years later, Ahsan became an engineer, building affordable technologies for underprivileged communities. At every stage of life, whenever challenges came, he reminded himself of that lonely road, those taunts, and how only his trust in himself had carried him through. Ahsan's life took a dramatic turn after the science competition. He was now in a prestigious city school, surrounded by students from elite families. But success didn't make life easier. In fact, it brought new challenges. In the city, Ahsan felt like a stranger. The students spoke fluent English, wore expensive clothes, and had access to books, gadgets, and tutors. Ahsan had none of those. He lived in a small room near a mechanic's shop and worked part-time just to afford basic meals. Once again, people underestimated him. But Ahsan reminded himself, "They have comfort, I have commitment. They have wealth, I have willpower." Every day he woke up before dawn, studying under a dim bulb, working at the shop, then attending school. Many nights he went to bed hungry. His hands were often greasy from fixing bikes, yet his mind stayed sharp. The bigger dream years passed. Ahsan excelled in studies, especially in science and engineering. He was now determined to build something that could truly help the poor. Solar-powered machines for remote villages. While others chased fame and fortune, Ahsan focused on purpose. At university, he started a project to build solar irrigation pumps for farmers. Everyone said it was too ambitious. His professor warned, "This isn't possible without foreign funding." But Ahsan simply smiled and said, "If I can make it with trust, time, and truth, that's all the funding I need." He failed, not once but 5 times. People laughed again. His roommates abandoned the project, but Ahsan kept going. He read books, experimented, saved every rupee from his part-time jobs, and slowly he built a working model. Simple, efficient, and affordable. Recognition and respect news spread. His solar pump gained attention from local farmers and then NGOs. He was invited to international conferences. People who once laughed now stood in applause. But Ahsan never forgot his roots. He returned to his village, installed free pumps, trained students, and started a small school for technical skills. He had now become a symbol of self-trust, resilience, and service. When asked by a journalist what kept him going, Ahsan said with a gentle smile, "The world can take away everything. Money, people, comfort, but if you trust yourself, you can rebuild it all." Years later, Ahsan became a respected engineer, known for building low-cost solar machines for poor farmers. He returned to his village, opened a training center for underprivileged youth, and inspired thousands through his story. The world once doubted him, but his trust in himself turned every failure into fuel, every pain into purpose. He proved self-belief is the greatest power. It can change a life, a village, even the world. Despite all the attention, Ahsan remained grounded. Instead of chasing fame, he returned to his roots, the same village where he was once mocked and doubted. There, he used his earnings and sponsorships to build a technical training center for rural youth. The center taught engineering basics, renewable energy, and problem solving, especially using local and recycled materials. Young boys and girls who once thought they had no future now had a mentor who once walked the same dusty roads they did. Ahsan also partnered with farmers across the region, providing his solar pumps at low cost or even free. Crops flourished, families earned more, children stayed in school. His invention didn't just water the land, it revived hope. One evening, as the sun set behind the hills, Ahsan stood outside his center, watching children build toy windmills out of bottle caps and sticks. His eyes welled up with tears, not of sadness, but of fulfillment. A reporter who visited him asked, "What made you different, Ahsan? What brought you this far?" He replied with a quiet smile, "Everyone told me I couldn't do it. I had no money, no name, no support. But I had something more powerful. I trusted myself. That was my light in the darkness." Final message. Ahsan's story reminds us that success doesn't start with resources. It starts with belief. Trust in yourself when no one else does. Keep walking, keep trying. Even when the road is empty, your faith in yourself will take you further than you can imagine.